What is going on, Jets Nation? This is Richie and Jack live on the Jets Media Podcast, giving you guys our Texans and Jets preview. It is the game of the week. It is the quarterback battle of the century. Two number 2 overall picks. CJ Stroud versus Zach Wilson. The whole world's going to be tuning into this one. Zach Wilson's back, and he's ready to go up and prove to CJ Stroud he's the better quarterback. Oh, I wish that was a reality, man. I wish that was the actual reality of this game. But we all know it's not, okay? Let me live in my delusion for this little intro. But the reality is, Jack and I are excited to be live with you guys. Hit that thumbs up button on your way in. We got another Jets game to talk about, but unfortunately, there's other things outside of the Jets game coming up that we have to talk about because this week has been all about drama, all about this report, all about this lie, all about this truth. And there's so many things to unpack. And Jack and I are excited to launch it here on the Jets Media Podcast. Welcome in, everybody. Jack, how you feeling today, my friend?
Welcome, everybody. I'm feeling all right. You know, this is what we do every week of every season. It's Friday, so I'm in the psychotic state of convincing myself that the Jets can go out there and perform on Sunday, and we'll see if they can or not. It is the battle between two number 2 overall picks whose careers have gone in very different directions. Obviously, CJ Stroud is still in year 1. Zach Wilson is in year 3. But regardless of that, this is the battle of the number 2 overall picks. And it's interesting, man. Obviously, this has been a very interesting year for Zach Wilson. Supposed to be behind Aaron Rodgers. Aaron goes down. Zach Wilson gets thrown into the fire. Zach plays terribly. Zach gets benched. Tim Boyle plays terribly. Trevor Siemian plays terribly. Zach is back. With 5 games left on the slate for the year, Zach is back.
Welcome back, Zach.
Barring an injury, which we all hope does not happen, obviously, Zach Wilson will be the starter for the rest of the way. I think we can officially say that Aaron Rodgers will not be coming back this year. If he does, I think it's absolutely crazy. But, dude, what do you think, man? CJ Stroud, Zach Wilson, obviously we know who's having the better career thus far. But, you know, any given Sunday, we like to convince ourselves as Jets fans. I mean, the Texans are a significantly better football team than the New York Jets. But, you know, any given Sunday,
Which
man.
shouldn't be the case.
What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is the only thing that's getting Jets fans a little more, I wouldn't say excited, but just a sliver of just like excitement to watch them play is Zach Wilson returning. I think like if this was another Tim Boyle start, it would just be like so stale. Like at least Zach Wilson gives us something, you know, like he's exciting to watch when he sucks, even in my opinion. Like he actually like has a flash and then he plays like shit, or like vice versa. So like Tim Boyle gave us nothing. And, you know, we went back to Zach Wilson and we released Tim Boyle. We signed Brett Rippon to the practice squad. Trevor Siemian's the backup quarterback. We saw yesterday, I tweeted out a photo of Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers going over the game plan, and that photo went viral on Twitter. I actually really like the photo, so I kind of want to share with you guys. Listen, it's a photo. It doesn't really do anything, but it just shows you the vibe, and it's just cool to see some type of positive vortex of energy around this Jets franchise because, listen, folks, we can all agree there has not been any of that at all. And listen, really anything. It's just you just see a smile.
Look at Zach, bro. Zach's like trying so hard to make it seem like he's happy to be there.
Like Zach is just, you know, going over the game plan with his father, Aaron Rodgers, and you know, giving the camera the thumbs up. Rodgers with a little grin.
If you look up the word sarcasm in the dictionary, that picture will pop up right next to it. That's hilarious, man. But Zach is the guy. Zach is back.
Somebody commented, LOL, Zach either throwing for 250 somehow with 2 touchdowns or 3 interceptions with 7 sacks. And I think that's true. I think there's no in the middle.
I agree, bro.
Either he goes out there and lights it up or he just looks the same that he's always had and just has the worst game of his career. I mean,
I totally agree. I don't think there's any middle ground here. And, you know, what's funny is that everybody now is saying, well, Zach's got to let it fly. Zach's got to let it loose. Zach's got to let it loose. And I was afraid of that for a while because I think we were all afraid of, you know, watching him throw, 4 interceptions or something like that. At this point, who gives a shit?
I want to see 3 interceptions mixed with 3 touchdowns.
Yes, dude, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Like, be aggressive. And I don't know if you watched Zach Wilson's press conference, but man, that press conference went viral. It has like over 30 or to 35,000 views. So like, It's really interesting to me how not only Jets fans, but the NFL fans are very intrigued with the whole situation with the Jets quarterback, and they want to hear what Zach Wilson had to say. And I just got to give Zach Wilson some credit just in terms of the character, because he's been impressive to me of how he's handling this entire situation. I was very impressed with what he had to say at the press conference, was not pointing fingers, understood what he was doing, really confident in himself to go out there. And he went into Robert Saleh's office on Monday and said, I want the ball. I am the best quarterback for this team, and I want to go out there and prove it for you guys. So we shall see what Zach Wilson does. I'm not personally expecting him to go out there and light it up, but he did say when someone asked him the question, Zach, are you going to be approaching this a little bit differently this Sunday? He's like, I'm going to have more fun. And I think that just tells you that he's been, kind of playing scared a little bit and playing to the structure of like just playing within the system and doing this. I think we're going to see a little bit more of a free ball, because at the end of the day, Zach Wilson, you don't have really anything else to lose. You can honestly, we can all agree that, his time as a New York Jet is most likely coming to an end after this season. So if I'm Zach Wilson, man, I go out there and play like my life's dependent on it, play loose, play free, play aggressive, and just play ball like you were growing up and the way you fell in love with the game of football. So hopefully we see that type of Zach Wilson.
Yeah, and
I don't really know what to expect though.
And just play in general, right? I mean, I've yet to address on the channel here the Diana Rossini athletic story that was broken earlier this week about Zach Wilson, being hesitant to play if his number was called again. And who knows the truth of everything? Who knows who the rat is, where the leak came from?
Tim Boyle was released. Imagine.
Yeah, that's the scapegoat right there. Saleh made it very clear that Zach did not say that to him. Zach actually said the opposite to Robert Saleh. So with all of this stuff, who really knows the truth of it all? But I will say, if there is any truth to that, it's a disgrace, man. I mean, let's be honest about it. This guy, there's a million people that are waiting for an opportunity in the NFL, and this is a guy that's gotten too many opportunities already. And for that story to even come out there, I mean, no one's going to make that up. So Zach had to say that to somebody. I mean, that's at least where my head is at with all of it. And, and I say it's a disgrace. I'm not really angry about it, because I think we all see the writing on the wall. Zach Wilson's time with the Jets beyond this year is done. It's no longer a reality with him in the New York Jets. So, let him say whatever he wants, I guess. But unless you don't want a career in the NFL, obviously your career with the Jets is over. But unless you want your career in the NFL to end, when is this guy going to learn how to, what to say and what not to say? I mean, last year it was do you think you let your defense down? He answered no. Worst answer you could have possibly given. And this year it's this crap as well. So, for a player that has proved absolutely nothing in this league, he's not doing himself any favors by saying these things that he continues to say and shooting himself in the foot. And again, who really knows the truth of all this? But it's just not a good look. Number one, for the organization, for Zach. I mean, all of this stuff continues to come out. What kind of ship is Robert Saleh running in Florham Park? I just don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is because he didn't say any of those things publicly. Like last year, he said stuff publicly that was totally like, what are you saying, Zach? This year, in my opinion, he's saying everything publicly exactly how you want your quarterback to sound. I was listening to his press conference. He denied that. He said, I would never feel that way. And obviously, we don't know if Zach's lying. We don't know if Diane Rossini's lying. We don't know who the heck is lying. Someone's lying. And the reality is, Zach Wilson feels like he wants to go out there and play for his teammates, and he feels like his teammates has confidence in him. And now we got to go out there and see what type of Zach Wilson we're going to be. And I'm going to stand tall, and I'm going to say what I said from the beginning. I never thought that benching Zach Wilson was going to do anything. And that wasn't because I think Zach Wilson's this great quarterback that he is just, going to help us lead us to victory. But I looked at the people behind him and Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian, and when everybody was pounding the table to bench Zach Wilson, I'm like, and for what? What do you expect? Like, Zach Wilson gives the Jets the best chance to win. Not to say that he's going to do that and light it up, but everybody kept clowning me for defending Zach from that perspective of saying benching Zach Wilson will not do anything. And now they bench Zach Wilson, and now look where we are. We're in this entire drama spin, and Zach and Robert Saleh. You know what, Jack? This is my problem that I have with Robert Saleh, one of many.
Hit me.
He was, and it wasn't really a problem. Let me take that back. Let me just break this down real quick. Zach Wilson was not playing good football. The offense was not scoring touchdowns. And every single question that Robert Saleh had to answer every single week Are you considering a quarterback change? And what did Robert Saleh say? No, Zach Wilson's our guy. Zach Wilson gives us the best chance to win. And what was the fan base's response? Screw this guy. Robert Saleh keeps defending Zach Wilson. Bench that kid. Bench him. He sucks. And then Robert Saleh kept defending Zach. And then the pressure got louder. The external noise was just in his face. And then what did Robert Saleh do? I really think he caved to the outside noise to bench him, because Saleh even said this week, I always believed Zach Wilson was our best quarterback option. Well, if you always believed that, you shouldn't have benched him in the first place. So that tells me Robert Saleh might have caved to the outside pressure instead of what he wanted to do, unless there was somebody upstairs that had to make the decision. But I generally don't believe Robert Saleh was the one that wanted to bench Zach Wilson based off of what I've heard from him. He was very consistent with him defending Zach, always wanted him to be the guy, and then he goes to Tim Boyle. It's spun out of control, and here we are, and that falls on Saleh because he has the last say there, but it just drives me nuts because it sounds like he caved into the outside noise instead of sticking to his core beliefs, because if he never benched Zach Wilson, who knows where we'll be. I'm not saying we would have won a couple of games, even though that Falcons game probably could have been a win, but at the end of the day, it feels like to me, the head coach of this football team listened to the fans, listened to the media, listened to the outside noise instead of sticking to what he believes in, and that created this entire dramatic effect. So I don't know what your thoughts about that is.
Listen, man, I agree with you. First of all, I think, I was ready for a change, for sure. I think a lot of Jets fans were. But then quickly, obviously, we realized after just a few plays that Tim Boyle is certainly not better than Zach Wilson. So I was ready for a change basically until I saw Tim Boyle play, and then I'm like, Jesus, what do we do? But then that leads me to my next point. I'm not mad at Zach. I'm not mad at Tim Boyle. I'm not mad at Trevor Siemian. I'm directing my rage towards the Jets brass, towards the higher-ups in this organization, because once again, bro, it is an organizational failure. I'm mad at Robert Saleh. I'm mad at Joe Douglas, I think, more than anyone, honestly, when you look at this quarterback room and just how absolutely botched this season became because we didn't have a quarterback. And yes, we went out and got Aaron Rodgers. Whoop-de-frickin-do. It doesn't matter when he goes down and there's absolutely no backup plan in place. So I agree with you, bro. I think, Zach Wilson, outside of obviously a healthy Aaron Rodgers, was always the quarterback on this roster that gave us the best chance to win. It's just so frustrating when all three of them are terrible. Because let's not, and I know you're not doing this, I'm not accusing you of this, but obviously Zach, out of Trevor, Tim Boyle, and Zach gives us the best chance to win. But Zach sucks. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it a spade here. Zach Wilson still could not find a way to score touchdowns. And I know Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian can't either, but neither can Zach. So we're screwed. We don't have a good quarterback currently outside of Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not coming down on Zach. I'm not coming down on Tim Boyle. I'm not coming down on Trevor Siemian. They're just bad quarterbacks that are in this position because guys like Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, and Woody Johnson put them there. So I'm not angry at the bad quarterbacks. I'm angry at the organization that felt it was okay to roll with these three guys in a year where we have a top 10 defense. Special teams has been doing their job.
Sure.
It's just frustrating as hell, man. It comes down to an absolute failure from the the guys that are calling the shots.
Yeah.
Joe Douglas, Woody Johnson, and you got to throw Saleh in there as well.
And I think a lot of people are throwing a lot more blame on Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. And the crazy thing about it is we can't, like, Saleh has to speak to the media 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And all these questions that
Joe
are being
Douglas
thrown at Saleh
just hides back all year, bro.
I mean, every GM, they're only obligated
at the deadline
contractually to speak once in the season, in the deadline, and then after the season. So we're not going to hear from Douglas until after the year. And my point is, all the questions that's being thrown at Saleh honestly should be getting thrown at Douglas. Yeah. And Saleh has to be the one answering 100%. These questions. So, that's what we have to wait to see what Joe Douglas has to say. And I think that, we've said this over and over again, but the big mistake was their vision for this team this year was for Zach Wilson to redshirt. They did not want him to play, and they put all their eggs in a basket of Rodgers staying healthy. And that was a mistake because when obviously Aaron Rodgers goes down, there goes the red shirt. Zach Wilson, you got to go out there and play, in a first-year system. That's a complex system that's built around Aaron Rodgers, built around pre-snap reads, built around timing, anticipation. Is something that Zach Wilson is just simply not there yet in his development mentally. Yeah. So it was just a recipe for failure. We were able to stay afloat and go on that little 3-game winning streak to get to 4-3. That kind of sparked some life. Like, okay, maybe we actually can win some games with Zach Wilson. And the reality is this Jets team has proved they can win with Zach Wilson, but We can't win if the team around Zach Wilson's not playing their best, because Zach Wilson's not the good enough quarterback to go win for us. And that's something we know about Zach, right? The only way we win with Zach is if there's a run game. And if the defense is playing lights out. That's how we beat the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how last year, if you remember, when Zach had his first start after his injury against the Pittsburgh Steelers, we won 4 in a row. And that game against the Steelers, Zach had a fourth quarter comeback. And then that next week, we go up and beat the Miami Dolphins 40-17, right? And then we go and beat Denver. And then we go and beat the Green Bay Packers. I think that order was mixed up, but all 4 of those games, Breece Hall was dominating. The defense was dominating. Zach Wilson was playing turnover-free football, but he wasn't lighting it up, putting up 300-plus yards. That was the formula for a Robert Saleh-led team, and the formula kind of collapsed. And I think a lot of it, and I know that the focus and the hindsight is on the quarterback, but I really got to put a lot of blame as well on the running game, because when you talk about the offense, the running game, the running backs and the offensive line and the scheme, that is going to be the quarterback's best friend. And the Jets have not even been able. What is their ranking in running this year? Are they last in like rushing the offense? Because like it's not like we just have a bad quarterback play. When you don't have a good running game, then everything collapses around you. So it's not even like any quarterback, whether it's Zach Boyle or Simeon, can rely on that type of run game, and we can't even do that. So that's the frustrating thing. We've proven that we can win with Zach, but we can only win with Zach, obviously, when everything around him is playing good. He's not good enough to elevate the guys around him and be a superhero like other great quarterbacks in the NFL.
You hit the nail right on the head, bro. 100% right. I couldn't agree with you more. And let's face another sad reality here. Going into this season, we thought quarterback away, quarterback away. This season has proved that we are much more than a quarterback away, at least on the offensive side of the ball. The offensive line is a joke. The wide receivers outside of Garrett Wilson is a joke. The tight ends have been brutal. The running game has been brutal. And the
sad thing is, like, what would this offense look like with Aaron? Like, it's all I want to know, because there's no way it's this bad. Like, I don't think it would be to the level that we were hopeful for in the offseason, but I still think with Aaron, and say Aaron stays healthy, even though he will get hit because of this offensive line, I still believe that Aaron Rodgers would find a way for this team to be like 20th in offense, which would give us a playoff run right now. If Rodgers is healthy all season long, we had a 20th ranked offense, we would be in the playoff race today.
Bro, I've been saying this all year. I understand the offensive line is a huge issue, but Aaron Rodgers does not hold on to the football. He finds ways to get the ball out of his hands. So it doesn't matter that the offensive line can't hold up for 3 or 4 seconds, because Aaron Rodgers knows what to do with the ball.
Immediately gets the
I'm
ball
not
out
saying
quick.
that we would be the best offense in the league. You're not saying that either. But I would almost guarantee that we would have a bunch more touchdowns on the year and definitely a couple more wins.
Talk about gold zone and red zone specialist. That's Aaron Rodgers. Like, Aaron Rodgers is that.
Loser, dude.
Aaron Rodgers is the red zone specialist. Hackett has nothing to say about it.
Let's fire Hackett and pay Rodgers what we would have paid Hackett on top of what he's already making, because Hackett does nothing. Hackett does nothing, bro.
Yeah.
And when we do eventually finally see Aaron Rodgers out there for an extended period of time in a Jets uniform, it will be Aaron Rodgers that is responsible for any success that the offense sees, because Hackett has just proved that he is a bum, bro. If you need a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback to be successful, you are not an offensive coordinator, bro. You're just a placeholder. I mean, I don't know what he is. I don't know what he brings to the table. No, absolutely nothing at all.
It's sad. And that's the reality of the situation. I also think Aaron Rodgers would open up the run game, because defenses would not be loading up the box against a guy like Aaron Rodgers, they're doing against our quarterbacks.
I agree. And you know what? And this is all smoke and mirrors, obviously. But I would like to think that just the presence of Aaron Rodgers would mitigate the dumbass pre-snap penalties as well.
He'd be on them.
Everybody just plays to a higher standard and a higher
level. He'd also hold them
accountable
accountable.
Because that guy's with them. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we would look like a real football team.
And like, there'll still be some penalties. There'll still be some miscues.
Of course,
I really don't think this offense would be perfect with Aaron, but I still think the offense would have been good enough to win. And that's the only reason why we're saying this, folks, is elephant in the room, our defense. Our defense is like that good enough where we don't need the offense to do crazy things. And I hate that narrative of everyone's like non-Jets fans are like, oh, even with Aaron Rodgers, this Jets team would have sucked. That's not true. Like, if you see what the defense has done this year, if you see what the special teams has done this year, you plug in Aaron Rodgers with the same offense around you. I'm sorry, man. This team has at least 3 or 4 more wins right now, and we are in the wild card race today. And I know that's a lot of what ifs, but you go back and look at all the games.
This whole season has been a what if, bro. It was a what if from the 4th snap. So
it's sad.
Yeah.
And now Aaron Rodgers has a full year of rehab underneath his belt, and we're going to go into next year and hopefully build around him and get, it's going to be that season where it's like, this is it, right? This is it for the regime. This is the last opportunity for Saleh, last opportunity for JD to really build a team around a quarterback that's ready to go all in. Because Aaron Rodgers is obviously a competitor, and if he was done, he would be done, right? But he is obviously not done playing football, and he wants to go out there. If it was up to him, he'd play this season. But the Jets are not giving him that opportunity because we stink, and we can't win a game and put us in a playoff contention for him to go out there and run the table for whatever reason. So Aaron Rodgers is a fierce competitor. He's all in with this organization, which I really, really just appreciate because, someone that's like, grown up as a Jets fan, and you guys can relate to this, we don't usually have anybody backing the Jets organization even in the middle of their incompetence, right? We are a clown show right now to the whole world, but Aaron Rodgers is still there on ESPN backing Coach Saleh, backing this team, saying, I'm all in, I'm with this organization, I'm going to go out there and practice with my guys, and that just makes me feel really good. Like, I thank Aaron for that because I really genuinely believe his presence does a lot for this team. It elevated not only the, awareness of the team, but the fan base that brought us to a new level. So, like, Aaron, I'm hopeful that you can just stay healthy and go out there next year. And now we have to wait a whole offseason to see you go out there and play football because we have no idea what to expect.
No idea what to expect, bro. And, I'm going to be honest with all you guys. I'm not going to say anything negative, but I will say that I am going to do absolutely nothing this offseason in terms of, expecting big things from the Jets with a healthy Rodgers and everything like that. This offseason and what this season became post what was the greatest offseason in our memories as Jets fans has broken me. I think it's broken a lot of us. I think it's proved
cracked.
Regardless of who signs here, who we trade for, who we draft, how good we look going into the season, this offseason and the first 4 plays of this current regular season has showed us that it can all go downhill faster than it ever was going up. So, you know what, man? I am not going to sit here and say the Jets are going to stink next year, obviously, but I can't say I just can't. And, obviously we're still, a month away from the offseason or whatever. But it's going to be a very interesting offseason. I will say that there will not be as much hype about next season. But can I ask you a question, bro? And we don't have to spend too much time on this, but I do genuinely want to hear your thoughts on this. Patriots won yesterday. The Giants are in a much better position than they were a few weeks ago. We're in a much worse position than we were a few weeks ago. The Jets could very well lose out. I mean, I know we got, the Commanders and we got the Patriots again, but let's say the Jets lose out. It's a 4-13 year. I can't even believe that's a possibility, but that is. We get I don't even know. We get the 4th or 5th pick in the draft. Are we, as the days go on, man, and I know this sounds kind of wild, especially from me, but I feel like you got to take one of these quarterbacks.
Coming around?
I feel like you got to, bro.
Well,
I feel like you have to.
Let me just say this. If the Jets lose out, Jack, that's not 4th or 5th. That's potential 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Well, we got the Panthers that certainly aren't going to win another game.
Yeah.
But, their picks is to Chicago, so it's going to be the Bears
but
first
if we
overall.
lose out, that means the Patriots beat us. Right, and if the Patriots somehow squeak,
the evidence suggests that the Patriots are going to destroy us.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. No, my point is that if the Jets have an opportunity to draft like a Drake May, who is the guy next to Caleb Williams at the top of the draft, I think that's a no-brainer. But if you miss out on the top 2 and say you're at 3 or 4 or 5, it's a big discussion because there's a big conversation with this, right? If this is a year where Joe Douglas is trying to save his job, do you want to draft the potential quarterback of the future or draft a guy that you can go all in and win now? Because say Joe Douglas drafts a quarterback and then he's fired the year after, and then we bring in a new regime that didn't draft that quarterback. So that's a big mess. And if you're at number 3, Marvin Harrison is staring at you in the face. I mean, that is like a generational wide receiver that you can pair up with Garrett Wilson and like have like, one of the better 1-2 punches in the wide receiver position in the NFL. But I'm not going to lie to you, Jack. I'm right there with you. I'm more on the drafting a quarterback in the first round than I ever have been. And that's just because of the reality that this is a stacked quarterback class, one of the biggest quarterback classes there's been in a long time. And all I want is a franchise QB, man. That's all I want. And yes, you can take a flyer in the later rounds and you just like throw a blind dart at the dartboard. But like, I just want a freaking quarterback. Like if it's Jaden Daniels, if it's Bo Nix, if it's Penix, right? One of those other quarterbacks that's beyond the top 2, you never know. You look at these quarterbacks, there's quarterbacks that get drafted all throughout the first round that are busts and also hits. So, like, let me know what you guys think in the chat, guys. Like, if you have a top 5 pick, are you going offensive tackle? Are you going wide receiver? Or are you going for that quarterback for the future? Because it's such an interesting conversation that we're going to have all offseason long. And the more I think about it, the more I want a quarterback. But then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but
you know what? I feel like Marvin Harrison is the safest option because, unfortunately, the reality of the situation is that the Jets are not good at drafting quarterbacks, nor are they good at drafting offensive linemen. At least under Joe Douglas, as much as we want to love Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera Tucker, they're injury prone. That's the reality of the situation, and we love Mekhi coming back. We love Mekhi, love to see that that's not a season-ending injury.
Joe Alt from Notre Dame, I think he's from, is a tackle that is just breeded for Joe Douglas.
You get what I'm saying, though? Like, absolutely. Joe Douglas, it's an unfortunate
and it
reality.
Sucks because, like, Mekhi Becton, AVT, and now throw in Joe Tippmann are 3 offensive linemen Joe Douglas drafted in the first and second rounds. And I could say with a straight face, if those 3 guys are healthy, I think they're the 3 cornerstones of the offensive line 100%, for a decade.
Dude.
But Joe Tippmann, he's healthy right now. He's actually playing, like, I don't know if you see the numbers, but he's playing like one of the better pass blocking centers in the entire NFL right now, which is a really good sign for the future
very good game
of the center, right? We've been looking for our next Nick Mangold. Hopefully Joe Tippmann will knock on wood that he's the guy and he can stay healthy.
Knock on plastic.
And Mekhi Becton, you got to give him credit too, right? He this season got banged up with an ankle, but he's right back on the field, which is good to see that that's not an injury where it's like sidelining him for the rest of the season. Obviously, he had 2 seasons of injuries, and the big question for the offseason is, are they going to franchise tag Mekhi Becton? Are they going to let him walk? Are they going to franchise tag Bryce Huff? There's a lot of different avenues the Jets can go in the offseason in terms of bringing who back and who's going to walk or whatnot. So it is an interesting conversation to have, but, when it comes to the draft, at this point, this is the sad reality, Jack, is there's a lot of people out there that are now rooting for the tank. And I can't do that.
I cannot.
I'm just going out there rooting for my team. And because, listen, this is how I always view the tank. We, as fans, have no control what happens. So I go in watching my Jets on Sunday, rooting for a win. And if they win, let's go. We won a football game. If we lost, okay, we got a better draft pick. It's like it's out of our control. It avoids, from my perspective, from my mental, it avoids any strain of negativity of but that, but this. Like, it's totally out of our control. So my advice to you guys, go into this Sunday. It's a Jets football game. There's only 5 left, right? I know that it's a shitty season. You want the season to end. But in my opinion, I get excited for my Jets to play, even when they stink late in December. It's what I've known for my entire life. So I'm not rooting for any losing. I'll tell you that much.
I can't stand the tank talk, bro. I mean, I was listening to WFAN as I do every day. And, freaking Sean Marash is, upset that the Giants win a game. Imagine tuning on to the radio or onto a live stream, whatever, wherever you catch your sports content, and hearing guys talk about your team on a big platform talking about wanting to lose. How does that, how is that a thing? That's disgraceful. It's an absolute disgrace.
Hey, man, there's Jets fans that want to lose Sunday.
How do you tune in?
Just telling you.
How do you tune in to content for the team that you support, and you listen to people talking about wanting to lose?
You know who's upset?
In a sport with 17 games, you want to lose?
A lot of Patriots fans, and Master at Work in particular, is pissed off about their win last night.
Go scratch. Go absolutely scratch. We have sympathy for Patriots fans. Give me a break. On top of the world for 20 years.
Oh, I'm happy.
Welcome to the bottom.
We need the Patriots to win out, because they do not deserve to get a top pick, okay? They need at least a couple years of just quarterback purgatory, okay? So I'm happy the Patriots won, even though I'd never root for the Patriots. But guys, hit that like button. We greatly appreciate you folks. How many likes did we got? Let's see. 42 likes. We could do better than that, guys. Come on now. Hit that like button for your boys. We got over 100 people tuning in live. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's the Jets Media Podcast, and we are getting into it. We got a super chat to get to. Charles Gorman, the great Charles Gorman. Hi, Jack and Richie. Stay tuned for my live stream. That will be up around 3 to 3:30 today.
All right, baby.
Charles grinding on his new YouTube channel. Shout out to Charles Gorman. Everyone go check out Charles' channel.
Reminder.
Everyone go check out Charles. We appreciate the super chat, Charles. Really, really do appreciate you. Salah is on. All right. Salah is speaking to the media now, so he'll probably have some announcements of the final injury report that we will talk about, and maybe anything else in terms of who's out. Unfortunately, oh, wait, here we go. So Robert Saleh feels good about Breece Hall playing on Sunday despite missing the last 2 practices. He'll be limited today. So that's some good news. Breece Hall's been out of practice all week with an ankle. He'll be limited today. But at the same time, the amount of times I've heard Saleh say, I feel good about this guy playing, and he doesn't play, I have no idea what to believe. But the fact that he's limited.
Apparently him saying that he feels good about something is the kiss of death. So I don't know. We'll see.
Wes Schweitzer and Jason Brownlee will be out in the game, which is a big blow. I mean, come on, Wes. You get healthy for this game, and then you're back. I mean, you're already hurt again. Come on. Why can't we just have 1 week where there's the same 5 2 weeks in a row? And Jason Brownlee was actually wasn't doing anything special, but he's showing some flashes.
The 2009 starting 5 offensive linemen for the Jets. You want to hear them?
Aaron Rodgers is also ruled out, by the way. Just wanted to clear.
The starting 5 O-linemen for the Jets in 2009 when we went to the AFC Championship are burned into my head.
Healthy.
And it was DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Alan Faneca, Nick Mangold, Brandon Moore, Damian Woody. What are we talking about here,
with
man?
Sean Green.
It was a different time. It was a different era, bro. And you got to respect Joe Douglas for prioritizing the trenches, which is, he's a man of his word. When he first got to the Jets, which is 5 years ago now, I can't even believe how long it's been. Because usually GMs and head coaches don't last that long for the New York Jets. But he said, you win up front. And he's tried his best to prioritize that.
He prioritized the defensive front as well, and he's done a great job. But
of course, and it's just, it's these injuries, man, which are obviously out of his control.
Totally, and it's
brutal.
sad.
It's brutal.
And the defensive line, I mean, they're all healthy. I mean, it's crazy, and they're dominant. And the offensive line are not healthy.
Out of Al Woods, obviously, but then
Perry and Winfrey.
Yeah, Perry and Winfrey.
But listen, the defensive line are all a bunch of dogs, and it's sad that we can't even this whole season, even these last few weeks, especially on this losing streak. There's not even myself has been able to appreciate the greatness of some of these individual players in the unit as a whole of this defense. Jermaine Johnson is coming off a game where he had a sack and a half. He's becoming that player that Jack and I were losing our minds about when we drafted him. We reacted to Jermaine Johnson and drafted thinking this guy's going to be like Lawrence Taylor. That's how excited Jack and I were about it. So it's cool to see Jermaine having his breakout, and we're not even talking about it. We don't even care. We should care, but this team's not allowing us to care. That's awesome. We have a guy in Jermaine Johnson who's becoming a stud, and we can't even be happy about it, dude.
And a guy in, we don't even the jury's not even out yet on Will McDonald. This guy could be a beast as well.
Dude, Will McDonald showed so many flashes.
The sample size is not even big enough, but the flashes that he's shown is damn, this guy could be a monster as well.
100%.
Throw Bryce Huff in there, who we better freaking retain.
DJ Reed continues to be one of the most underrated corners in the entire NFL. Michael Carter,
all of a sudden the Jets have edge rushers, which we haven't had since John Abraham.
Dude, it's crazy. John Franklin Myers is a very underrated player on this D-line. Quinnen Williams is just, I don't know if you saw it, chat, but the Jets came out with a mic'd up Quinnen Williams clip, 9 minutes long, of him against the Falcons. It was phenomenal content. I mean,
it's hilarious.
He's just awesome to hear. Just he's going up to Bijan Robinson. Hey, you too little. You're too little. And he just literally demolished someone and then in that play. And who's another player on defense who deserves some praise that we should re-sign? Ashton Davis.
Yeah.
Ashton Davis is becoming one of these players that are whoa. Okay, Ashton, he's a little late bloomer. Everyone has their own little trajectory.
Yeah.
And after that safety, everyone's going up to Quinnen and celebrating him. And he's like, hey, where AD at? Hey, where AD at? And he's like on special teams because he wants to give Ashton Davis the credit. But that's just a cool video. I love Quinnen Williams. And he's, the one player that you can say on this team that is a Jet, it's Quinnen. Want to know why? He got a second contract, right? It's rare for a Jet to get your second contract. And that is the fact. And I also have a new intro that I am adding, guys, and I showed Jack it. I won't show you guys it yet, but there is an addition I'm adding to this, Jack. Do you want to know what it is?
I would love to know what it is, my friend.
I decided that a jersey deserves to be hung somewhere in the lo-fi. And the jersey, it's going to be right here. And the jersey I picked was Quinnen Williams because he is like the one Jet where I'm like, he got a second contract. He is a Jet. He deserves it. He's the captain. He is a leader, and he's a dog. So that's who I chose to get a jersey on the wall for my animation that will be coming shortly, guys.
It's great to see homegrown talent get that second contract and become elite and just become the player that we always thought that person was going to be. Leonard Williams was we wanted him to be that guy. And he always got the benefit of the doubt. Well, he gets double teamed and triple teamed. Well, he's been much better as a Giant or a Seahawk than he ever was.
He's been a dog on the Seahawks.
As a Jet. So it's just great to see Quinnen Williams being
Jorge
being
with
a
the
great
$2
Jet.
says, Jack fans have T-Law. They don't regret rooting for L.
Then root for the L, Jorge, and see what happens,
Bro,
man.
the point is it's out of our control. So us rooting for whatever has zero, and I mean zero impact of what happens.
Yeah,
that is the point.
I'm going to root for my team to win.
Yeah, and if they lose, we get a better draft pick. Great. But rooting for losses is not in my blood. It's just not.
It's a miserable way of existing.
It's just not in my blood, okay? So,
bro, I live in a soup of Jets misery, and I will never root for them to lose a game.
Oh, it's great stuff, guys. We love you. Well, guys, the proud official sportsbook sponsor of Jets Media, as you guys know them well by now, is BetUS. Our proud sponsor of the channel will continue to be BetUS Sportsbook. Now, I want to get into the lines of this one. Guys, if you want to check out BetUS Sportsbook, that link is down below in the description. You get a 125% sign-up bonus when you make an account. That means you put $100 in to open up your account. You get $225 to play with. My favorite part about BetUS personally is you get to call them up on their hotline, 24/7 customer service. Hey, give me the Jets to lose this game. $100, please. You can place your bets on the phone, and they do a great job and really fast payouts as well. Let's see what the odds are for this game coming up. The Jets, it seems right now, are home underdogs. What else is new? 3.5-point underdogs at home. And if you guys didn't guess already, it's going to be a rainy day again in MetLife Stadium. So,
I mean, let's talk about that for a second.
The over-under's at 33.
Fifth rain game at MetLife this year, bro?
Why?
Come on.
What do we do to deserve this? It's ridiculous. It's
brutal.
Ridiculous.
And not obviously for the players, but for the fans, bro, that buy tickets and watch this crap like we did earlier this year. We sat through it week 3. Man.
It's ridiculous.
Brutal.
Man.
Mother Nature can't even help us out.
Come on. It's like a glooming cloud around our franchise that we can't seem to escape.
It is just an omen.
So, guys, if you want to put some bets on the over-under, I think that's probably the safest bet on this. I'm kind of staying away from the spread and the money line because I think it's a really big wild card game unless you just feel like, yeah, I mean, the Jets are freaking losing 100%. Then you bet on the Texans to win. But I like the over-under on this one. I don't really see it being high scoring due to the weather and due to the Jets defense and the Jets offense stinking. So I like the under of 33. Personally, even though the Texans offense is, proven to be a really good offense, but they are now without Tank Dell for the season. Unfortunately for them, big loss. And I do still have hopes of this Jets defense making plays. Not going to shut them out by any means, but I think they're going to limit them enough. So, guys, we're going to hear a quick word from BetUS. We appreciate you guys.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
Salute to BetUS Sportsbook for continuously being the sportsbook sponsor
Shout
of
out
Jets
to them,
Media.
man. I love BetUS. I love how it's old school. I love how you can call them up, place a bet. I love how you can print out your bet slip. It's cool, man. It's unique. It's a nice breath of fresh air amongst this super saturated world of sports books and fantasy apps and all this stuff that that's shoved down our throat. I mean, every freaking commercial you see during an NFL game is either for beer or a sports book. So we're happy to be partnered with BetUS.
You know what else they have, Jack, that you are a fan of? Blackjack.
Oh, man, guys, I won big on Blackjack last night on Grand Theft Auto 5. Woo! You boys up like 1.1 million chips, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah, baby. If you want to play Blackjack, please bet responsibly and gamble responsibly, but BetUS is legal in all 50 states.
I got to give my my thoughts on these numbers real quick. I'm actually going to go the opposite of you, brother. You took the under. I'm going to take the over. Last night, we all saw a football game between the Patriots and the Steelers that we were all convinced was going to be a low-scoring game, and it hit 31 points before the first half even ended. So I'm going to take the over in this game. Not that those two games have anything to do with each other, but we do have Zach Wilson coming back. That'll add something to this offense that's better than Tim Boyle or Trevor Siemian at the very least. Yes, the weather is going to be a factor. But you know what? I have a feeling that, the Jets can, maybe put up 17 points.
Put your money where your mouth is.
In this game. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not crazy. But, for the sake of the podcast, I'll take the opposite opinion as you. And, of course, not put any money on it.
And, honestly, I am rooting for the over to hit because I want excitement.
Of course.
I want points.
Of
I
course.
want Zach Wilson to light it up.
Of course.
And Garrett Wilson to get the ball and maybe find the end zone because, I thought early on in the season, Garrett Wilson started off with, a touchdown against the Bills, a touchdown against the Cowboys, and I'm like, we're going to see Garrett Wilson find the end zone this year. Right.
Hey, he got he caught a Boyle touchdown.
He did caught a Boyle touchdown. I mean, what is even Garrett Wilson's stats this year? Because that is something I'm very curious because he's still been putting up numbers.
He's still on pace for 1,000 yards.
Which is such a dog, man. I love Garrett Wilson is becoming just as a human being, like his press conferences, his character, his demeanor, his professionalism, and just the way he was raised. Like, I got a lot of respect for Garrett Wilson. I feel like he was raised, like his parents are just awesome people. So Garrett, I just really appreciate you. I know you're not watching this, but
He is watching.
You are becoming, if you're not already, my favorite Jet. And I mean, everything about it, and that's not just on the football field, just even off the field. Like, he's a leader. Like, he deserves to be a captain for this team. Like, he is embodying what it means to be a leader in the state of misery. He was on the NFL Network this past week, Jack, and just hearing him how he holds himself during this losing streak and getting asked hard-hitting questions about Zach Wilson and about the Jets offense and hearing what he has to say. Those things mean a lot to me to hear someone like that. He loves this Jets organization. Like, he really genuinely has a love and a passion for the squad. And anybody that backs this Jets team, even in misery, gets me more respect.
He's always had this sort of veteranness to him. Not only the way he plays, but the way he presents himself when he's being interviewed as well. And, I feel like he's always kind of been beyond his years, a little bit. Obviously,
sure.
Coming from a huge program like Ohio State obviously helps out. That's basically as close to the NFL as you can get without being in the NFL, playing for a team like Ohio State, with millions of eyes on you every time you play. So that obviously helps transitioning to the NFL. But the maturity from Garrett Wilson, man, is unbelievable, and he is on pace for 1,000 yards. He's at 745 receiving yards currently on the year, 3 touchdowns.
Come on, I want Zach Wilson to literally not throw the ball to anybody but this guy. Okay,
I mean, bro, there's nobody else that deserves targets.
Oh, that's the worst stat I've ever seen. This guy has 115 targets to 67 catches, and I would love to see a stat of how many of those are non-catchable.
Just non-catchable.
Because I tell you this,
garbage.
Garrett does not have drop issues. The one thing Garrett needs to maybe improve his game on just a little bit is maybe the contested catches, but that's me just being a little nitpicky, but I think that's not something we need to really hone in on.
I mean, he's our only receiver, guys. Once again, we were convinced that Alan Lazard was competent, that Randall Cobb wasn't 97 years old. And, Xavier Gibson has done some exciting things, and I'm not going to get down too bad on the undrafted rookie. And the other undrafted rookie.
You know that Xavier Gibson started to cut you off, but, it's hard to talk about positives when we lose. But Xavier Gibson led the Jets in receiving last game. He had his best game as a receiver. He had 5 catches for 77 yards.
He's come
up. That's like a solid day.
Yeah, he's come up clutch on third down. I mean, 5 for 77 is like an average of 13 or 14 yards.
That's a good day. And we can't even be happy because they stink.
No.
And he needs to show it more consistently. But
cool. What I was going to say is that, I've been kind of liking the little flashes that we've seen from Jason Brownlee as well. And unfortunately, he's about to miss this week.
And Alan Lazard is up.
What does that mean? Alan Lazard.
Alan Stinky Lazard.
And even Robert Saleh said, even though we signed Lazard to a 4-year deal, even Saleh goes, yeah, we got Lazard for another year and a half because the Jets can get out of it after 2 years. It's just
later, Lazard, after this year.
It's hilarious.
Goodbye and good riddance. Now,
so bad.
Let's get back into this Jets-Texans game matchup. I want to talk a little bit more about the Texans because I'm someone that loves...
I know what you're about to say. Go on.
I love rookie quarterbacks. Every year, just as a non-Jets fan, and I love to see what quarterbacks do well in year one, and C.J. Stroud is just lighting up the NFL, right? He's coming off a big win. He lost his number 1 receiver, who is arguably the steal of the whole draft last year in Tank Dell. And I'm really excited to see how our defense matches up against the Houston Texans offense and just C.J. Stroud in particular. And I also have a lot of respect for DeMeco Ryans, their head coach, who had nothing but singing praise for Robert Saleh, which I found very interesting. Ryans gave Saleh all the credit in the world, saying, I would not be here today if it was not for Robert Saleh. If you guys did not know, Ryans came from San Francisco. He was on San Francisco when Saleh was the DC. When Saleh left to come to the Jets, Ryans was elevated to the defensive coordinator, so he kind of was that predecessor from Saleh. So cool to hear some type of, praise to Robert Saleh's way. Unfortunately, the Jets fans don't see anything praise to Saleh because he's just losing everything. But I'm curious, Jack, what's your overall expectation from this defense against a guy like C.J. Stroud? I'm not expecting him to shut him down and you just completely shut him down. But, from an NFL fan perspective, I think this is an exciting matchup just from the Texans offense and the Jets defense going up against each other.
It is, man. First of all, I'm a sucker for the underdog, which, the Texans were for many, many, many years. So I'm loving that the Texans have life. I'm loving that the Detroit Lions have life because this is what I envisioned for the New York Jets, obviously, So wanted to get that out there. I'm happy for the Texans. Also happy for C.J. Stroud. Not a lot of people expected big things from him when he was drafted. I remember there was that whole narrative out there that he was dumb. Remember he scored a bad score on the cognitive exam or whatever bullshit. What's happening now? Make them eat their words, C.J., so I'm happy for you, bud. I really am.
Yeah, he's a bright star for this league.
But at the end of the day, he's still a rookie quarterback, and we have an elite defense. So this should not be a walk in the park for C.J. Stroud. The Jets' defense should get after it. They should have a good day.
I would love to see him selfishly just shut him down and make C.J. Stroud look like a rookie and have his worst game of his career.
And that's very possible, bro. That's very possible. I mean, C.J. Stroud, I think it was against maybe the Cardinals. It was against a crap team, though.
They lost to the Panthers.
He had his worst game against either the Cardinals or the Panthers, I think, where he threw 3 interceptions.
That was recently.
But they actually they found a way to win that game, which is the point I was going to make. So even when Stroud doesn't play his best, the Texans as a whole, outside of the quarterback position, have come a long way. And shout out to DeMeco Ryans, their head coach, who obviously, as Richie just said, has a relationship with Robert Saleh. And they have both had nothing but great things to say about each other. So this will be an interesting matchup between these two young head coaches as well. But when it comes to the Jets defense matching up against the Texans offense, man, shut down the run game, make C.J. Stroud beat you with his arm, which he's showed that he's been able to do. But we have a very good defense, which he doesn't see a defense like the Jets defense every single week. So make him beat you by playing quarterback.
Yeah, and their deep threat and Tank Dell's down. So it's going to be Nico Collins, it's going to be Schultz. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. And then flipping it over to the Texans side of things, there's someone that's red hot on the Houston Texans defense, and that is Derek Stingley Jr., the man who was drafted ahead of Sauce Gardner. He has 4 interceptions in his last 4 games. I'm pretty sure I think he has 9 combined interceptions and pass deflections in 4 games. So he is red hot. He had a little, slow start to his career, injured in his rookie season, and we all knew who Derek Stingley was coming out of the draft. But now he is kind of really coming on here, and he had 2
LSU
interceptions.
Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 2 interceptions against Russell Wilson last week that helped them beat the Broncos. So that's going to be, an interesting matchup for Stingley going up against Garrett Wilson, with Zach Wilson trying to, feed Garrett Wilson. And Garrett Wilson, whenever he goes up against top-tier corners, he's been able to get the better of those corners more often than not. Not to say there's a couple reps where Stingley's going to lock him down, but I also think there's going to be some reps where Garrett Wilson gets open, and we're hopeful that he can get the ball, because if you look at the All-22 last week, Jack, holy crap, the amount of times Garrett Wilson, he should have 3 touchdowns. Bro, the amount of times he was wide open down the field, like not even just open, just like 10 yards of separation, literally dancing down the field, and Tim Boyle's like this. He's like this. Oh, a little check down. So, dude, if I'm the Jets coaching staff, I am freaking lighting it up and throwing the ball 50 yards down the field 10 times to Garrett Wilson, bro.
Just throw to him every time. I don't care if he's triple covered. I mean, I don't care if Zach Wilson throws 11 interceptions. I didn't care if Tim Boyle threw 11 interceptions. I certainly didn't care if Trevor Siemian threw 11 interceptions. He almost had 11 fumbles, by the way. But just force feed Garrett Wilson the goddamn ball. 100%. You don't have any other good receivers at the moment.
He was wide open.
Force feed it to Garrett Wilson, bro.
Do you know who else is on the
Texans? And if you continue
defense?
to force feed, you'll force them to double, and then, a bum like Alan Lazard might actually be able to make a play.
Bum like Alan Lazard. Do you know who else is on the Houston Texans who is balling out? Blake Cashman.
Blake Cashman having a year, bro, and staying healthy, of course.
That's the only reason why.
As soon as he leaves the Jets.
Healthy
for a full year.
And a dog.
And his potential was always sky high, bro. He'll be like one of those Anunwa type players where I'll always wonder, like, damn, he could have been a really, really good Jet, but his body just didn't let it happen.
Yeah, and now he is becoming one of the better inside linebackers in the entire NFL.
Yeah,
so
bro. Good
that's
for him.
Going to be an interesting.
I love seeing a former Jet do well elsewhere, because 9 times out of 10, I mean, obviously not with Cashman, it was injuries that got him out of here. But 9 times out of 10, it's the Jets failing these players rather than the other way around. So I love seeing guys go and make their money and establish themselves, man. So good for Blake Cashman, bro.
100%. So Blake Cashman's the former Jet we got to look out for. And there's another former Jet on their team, Adrian Amos, who's a very recent
Jet,
who is telling them all of our secrets right now, currently. And I think the Jets made that move because of Ashton Davis, because they want to give Ashton that role of that third safety nickel dime package. And Ashton Davis, when we start talking about it.
You know what's elite, though? Now you have a source in the Texans.
I do. I actually reached out to him, and I said, what's good? And I was like, wish you nothing but the best. If you're watching right now, love you, bro. Good luck on your next endeavors.
Absolutely.
And listen, man, good luck to Smash. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out with Adrian Amos and Smash, because he came here for a win now season. Talking about Adrian Amos, and the Jets are not winning right now. Another former Packer. So the Jets did right by him, and they both mutually agreed, hey, man, I'm at a stage in my career where I want to go out there and fight for a playoff berth, and right now the Jets don't have that, so they got rid of him, and he's with the Houston Texans. And there's another former Jet on the Texans that Dave the Dude reminded us is George Fant is their right tackle, I believe. So there's a lot of former Jets over there for Houston. And it's going to be an interesting matchup, man. I think that the Jets actually have a chance of not only being competitive, but they can win this game just because of their defense. And I know that we're losers of 5 in a row, but I will say it consistently every week. We have a chance to win every week, and we proved it against the Eagles. And I know that sounds like a fluke at this point, but we beat the Eagles because of the defense just woke up to like another level. And I think this defense is capable of doing that. Not every week. It's not sustainable to win that way, but it's proven that it's a fluky thing that the Jets defense can lead them to victory. And I don't know.
When you look at how this team has played since that Philadelphia game, it really is just
we barely beat the Giants, and then we lose every game since.
Unbelievable that we beat the Philadelphia Eagles this year.
Tony
for the first time in franchise history.
Tony Adams. That interception.
St. Louis University High.
Dude, that play, Tony Adams faked like he's blitzing, dropped back in coverage, picked him off. Like, that was the game-winning play. Without that play, we would have lost.
Man.
So, and there's a lot of other things that happened that game. 4 turnovers we forced. Come on, D. Let's make some plays, man. Looking at you, Quinnen. Looking at you, Big Q, CJ. All these dogs, man. CJ Mosley's such a great player, such a great leader of this team. Like, we're wasting him.
it's just so. The Jets, they don't accomplish things that we want them to accomplish, but they still accomplish things that are very difficult to do, like having one of the best defenses we've ever seen and by far the worst offense that we've ever seen. Not one of, the worst.
C.J. Mosley, dog.
It's just
him
unbelievable.
University, DJ Reed,
And what is a guy
dog.
like C.J. Mosley, who, is also at the end of his career, what is he thinking every day? Like, damn it, at least these guys gave me a freaking bag.
He's a dude. You should hear him. Obviously speaking to the media is
He's gotta
different
be
than
pissed.
what your intrusive thoughts are. But
He's got to be pissed, bro.
he's the embodiment of a captain, man. He's an embodiment of a leader and a great mindset.
Yep.
Obviously, on his own, like in his own mind, he may be obviously very frustrated. But when he speaks to the media, he has nothing but just singing praise for the team and optimism in Zach and just being what a leader should be representative of, because I think your leadership is your biggest test of leadership and character is when you are in an adversity state, which the Jets have been in all season.
And I'll give Saleh credit for that. These players know how to talk to the media, and I will give Saleh credit for something that John Franklin Myers said the other day in a press conference as well, speaking about the balance between how good the defense is and how bad the offense is. And he said, it doesn't matter whether they meaning the offense, doesn't matter whether they score 45 points or 0 points. We have to do our job. We hold ourselves to the same standard every week, no matter what. And that's on Jeff Ulbrich. That's on Robert Saleh. That's on the defensive position coaches. So once again, bro, we can't say enough good things about this Jets defense, bro. It's just this goddamn offense that continues
to plague
continues
our
to
lives.
Just step on us.
Our lives are being ruined. Rich reminds the people, hit that like button. Jet up. Rich cannot. Thank you. Enough, guys. We have another sponsor I wanted to remind you guys about because it's holiday season.
Oh, baby.
What is it? It's holiday season.
It's holiday season.
Happy holidays to everybody out there. Happy Hanukkah for those who celebrated. Pretty sure that was yesterday.
Yeah, first night was last night. Hope you guys are all enjoying your holiday if you're celebrating.
And if you're looking for a holiday gift and you're not sure what to get, I cannot recommend enough the Manta Sleep Mask, baby. Now, the Manta Sleep Mask, I got them right over here. This one is the craziest one. You guys get 10% off if you use promo code JETS down below in the description. This is the Bluetooth sound mask. I mean, are you kidding me? You could put this on and listen to some music as you're going to sleep. Now, this is their most expensive product. Now, the one I would recommend, though, the one that I personally use every night is this one, the Pro Sleep Mask. This is linked in the description. It's the one that I use. So, guys, if you want to get a gift for yourself or a gift for a family member or a loved one or a friend, I cannot recommend you enough the Manta Sleep Mask because this will change their life. This is not any ordinary sleep mask. This is something that has changed my personal life because I am someone that prioritizes sleep for the better health of myself. But at the end of the day, it's proven that it makes me sleep so much better. And I showed you guys a photo last show, and I kind of want to bring it back up because my dad took a funny photo of me on our way to Vegas. And this is totally candid. He sent me this photo after the fact. I just want to show you guys me absolutely.
I mean, this is just too perfect. You're jetted out, and you got the Manta Sleep Mask on.
And trust me, guys, this is not like fake. Like, this is me genuinely completely knocked out on the plane on our way to Las Vegas. And my dad thought it'd be funny to take a picture of me. And I had this on for like 4 hours straight. If you guys travel a lot and you like to sleep on planes, I cannot recommend this more. Like, I was on the plane in complete darkness and blackness and complete sleep for the whole flight. I mean, I was waking up at 4 a.m. for the flight, so I was very tired and I was knocked out. So
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What were you going to Vegas for?
I was going to Vegas to watch the New York Jets lose.
You hear that, Woody Johnson? Fix this shit. You got people going on planes flying across the country into a desert. Into a desert filled with guns and women of the night and gambling, and this is what your fans do.
Yeah, man. And you want to hear a fun fact about this flight as well, guys? So this flight was JetBlue. And you'll never guess, I said it once, but there was a man who was on this plane with me and my dad flying first class. And that man was the founder of JetBlue, who was the uncle of Zach Wilson. When they announced that, I heard on the pilot said, "Just want to welcome," I forgot his name, but like blah blah blah. The founder of JetBlue is with us, and in my head, I'm like, the founder of JetBlue. That's
Hey, man.
Zach Wilson's uncle.
You know that's going to be the safest flight ever. That flight's not going down.
Yeah, man. And I walked by him in first class, and I recognized him, and I gave him a nod. I was like, "Yeah, what's up, man? You're going to go see your little nephew play or what?" And then when I was in Vegas for the game, I was there pregame. I saw Zach Wilson's brother and a bunch of his friends walk by me, and I'm like, "Holy crap, that is a spitting image of Zach Wilson." And funny story, Jack. Zach Wilson's father said that Zach Wilson's younger brother is miles better than Zach right now in high school. So just wait for this. Zach Wilson's brother is about to get drafted into the NFL, and he's going to be a stud for another team while we have to draft Zach for it to be the bust. That's just the way. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Maybe
for the Jets.
maybe he'll get drafted by us.
Oh, maybe. You never know.
History tells us we'll be drafting another quarterback in
Arch Manning?
4 more years.
Arch Manning? Come on now. Now, let's get into the score predictions. What do you guys think about the score predictions in the chat about this game, man?
Score predictions, man. Listen, guys. I'm not going to sit here with a straight face and tell you that I think the Jets are going to win this game because I think the Jets are going to lose. I don't think the Jets are going to win this game. But I did say I'm taking the over, which was 33.
Yep.
So I got to stick with that. I'm being generous this week, man. I'm giving the Jets 17 whole points, which is huge for a team like the Jets.
Is that 2 touchdowns?
That is, yeah, sure.
And a field goal?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, how do they score the touchdowns?
It is going to be a Garrett Wilson touchdown from Zach Wilson. And then it is going to be a rushing touchdown, either Breece Hall, maybe a Zach Wilson rushing touchdown, maybe 2 all-purpose touchdowns. He's
not going to step
Zach.
out of bounds before.
No. Oh, God. Thanks for reminding me of that. I'll go 21. I'll go 21-17 Houston.
21-17 Houston. I'll be lying to you guys if I pick the Jets to win, but on my Bleacher Report show every Wednesday, we are very competitive and we're in the standings, and I picked the Jets to lose this game just because I'm pissed off with them, and they didn't really give me the right for me to pick them, and I've been picking them to win every single week, and I've been losing. So hopefully now I pick them to lose and they'll win. Right? I'm rooting for them to win. Let's not make it seem like I'm picking them to lose because I want them to lose. I want them to win, but they don't have a right for me to pick them to win. So my final score is going to be 14-10 Texans. But the Jets will figure out a way to win because I'm trying to do a little reverse psychology here. I picked the Jets to win, and they keep losing. So now I'm going to pick the Texans to win to see what happens there.
A therapist would have a field day with you and I, bro.
You think so?
Oh, my gosh. To invest so much emotionally into something that we have zero control over is a recipe for a mental breakdown.
It really is. I mean, what are we doing? We're out here watching this team that gives us nothing but nothing but just like, it's a sad time. It's such a sad time, guys. But what are we going to do about it?
We're going to watch the game on Sunday, then we're going to watch the game next Sunday, and then we're going to watch the game after that, and then the game after that.
Well, we shall see.
Nothing's going to change, baby. And we'll be here doing the podcast on Monday and another time next week and on Monday again.
Let's go. Merch is also live. If you guys want to get some merch for yourself or another holiday gift, we got the new Jets Media branded merch,
season,
baby.
Guys.
The new logo. This is my personal favorite, the Jets Media pint glass.
That pint glass is looking nice. That snapback is looking nice. Hey, man, that T-shirt is a classic. I like that pom-pom beanie. It's the holiday season, guys.
Zach Wilson headband.
You got some, you got any of your loved ones, a special someone potentially that's a
nice
fan
beanie
of the channel? Or if you're a fan of the channel and you want your special someone or one of your loved ones to get you a gift, you can maybe send them the link to New York Jets-media.myshopify.com.
Yeah, I got to fix that. But yeah, guys, if you are interested in the Jets Media store, definitely check it out. Also, a little announcement, Roundtable Sports is launching a huge merchandise collection. It's going to be graphic tees, and they're really freaking nice. So I'm excited to show you guys that. It's going to be Sauce Gardner graphics, tees, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, all the boys. So if you guys are interested, this is my personal favorite mug. I have
Come on,
this.
guys, $15 for that mug?
Yeah,
Getting coffee every day out of it for $15. Come on, man.
I
It's
got
a
the
no-brainer.
same mug for the AFC East roundtable, and I kind of want to get one for the Jets roundtable.
It's a no-brainer, bro.
Let's go, baby. So, guys, go check out the store if you want. Would greatly appreciate that. This is my personal store, and we're adding some fun little things. Let's freaking go. But, yeah, man, that's going to wrap it all up, man.
Let's go, Jets, Jets. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Jets Media Podcast. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel here on YouTube if you can. We'd really appreciate it. Of course, please also check us out in audio form on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find. Just search it up, the Jets Media Podcast. Leave a rating if you guys can. I know we're asking for a lot, but it really, really does help and enables us to keep doing this with you guys, which we love nothing more. So thank you guys so much for tuning in here on this Feel Good Friday. Rich,
yeah, guys,
close us out, baby.
If you want to check us out on Apple or Spotify, those links are down below in the description. Jack and I are really excited for this podcast. If you guys didn't know, we reached 1,000 podcast downloads.
Awesome, man.
Which is completely outside of YouTube, and we thank you guys for that. Me and Jack are taking this seriously. And we're really trying to build this thing in audio form. So if you guys can do us a gigantic favor, even though you watch this live on YouTube, if you could simply click one of those links down below in the description, download our podcast, and give us a rating, right? Give us a rating. Let's see what ratings we have. Let's see if there's anybody we can give some credit to.
Next week, we got Jason and Travis Kelce on.
We got 11 ratings, right? So Paul Miano gave us a rating. We got Only Jets Podcast for me, October 2nd from Jussa. Says, love the true Jets feel of this podcast. Richie keeps it fair, but can still get emotional and show his love for the team. Jacket angry, keeps it real, and doesn't let others change his opinion. These two guys together give me the Jets talk I need, especially after a Jets loss. Hopefully wins are in our future, but I will be listening and watching with Jets Media. What a great review.
That's a beautiful review, man, and I love to hear that because I think, me and Richie do a good job at complimenting each other. You don't want two guys that, feel the same exact way about everything, because then what's the point of even having two guys there in the first place? So you know what? Thank you so much for a great review like that, man. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, guys, and definitely, write some reviews and we'll read them live because we're curious to see how you guys feel about us, outside of the reviews and the live chat. We'd love to see some reviews here on Apple, and we'll check out the reviews on Spotify as well live, maybe next week. So definitely go down below in the description now. Give us a rating, give us a review so we can give it to you live. And we appreciate you guys. So that's going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate all you guys, man.
Later. Let's go Jets.
Even you, Dakota.
Even you, Dakota.